from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we want to start by wishing everybody a happy and fun and safe Memorial Day weekend. And if you are at the Walt Disney World theme parks this weekend and you happen to see us walking around, say hi. We'll be there. But today we are diving into the 96th Disney feature-length film from February the 11th of 1970. That's right, we made it to the decade of the 70s. This is the first film of the 1970s. And that is, again, movie number 96. And that is called The King of the Grizzlies. The King of the Grizzlies is a loose adaptation of Ernest Thompson Seton's 1900 novel, a biography of a grizzly. So this time they took 70 years to make the film after the book. Sometimes it's like a couple years later, but this time 70 years because we are in the 70s.
How long did Walt wait? Didn't Walt wait a long time for Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
How long did he wait for that
I
one?
don't know. This is 70 years though.
Yeah, but I don't think they were just dying waiting on this.
Hey, we haven't gone there yet. But would you like to start us off with a synopsis of the first film of the 1970s?
Ernest T. Seton, an American artist and author, tells the story of a mighty grizzly.
It's true.
I hope you have
I literally just said
more
that.
for us.
I literally just said that. But any thoughts before we jump right in?
Nope.
All right. So we start off with our opening credits, as we often do, and there's some hand drawings on some leather. We learn that it is the year 1899, but really it's the year 1970 because we made it to the 70s, but 1899. And it does say on the screen that this is the many tales of the mighty grizzly. We see a bear coming out of a cave, being very large and menacing, and there's some little cubs that follow behind her out. They were born during the winter hibernation.
Yeah, I had a question about that. If they're born during winter hibernation,
Is it painless because they're sleeping? That's what I thought.
do they just crawl out? Like, how does that work? Is that the least painful birth in the mammals?
I mean, maybe they just fall right back asleep and then
Well, that's terrible.
neglect their children. I don't know. Deep dive into magicpod@gmail.com. But whatever, this lady had this bear gave birth during the winter hibernation. We learned that one of the cubs was born without a toe. They're being very playful. They chase after a varmint, which is a badger. Second movie in the last couple that they used the term varmint. They used it in the Rascal film too.
Mm-hmm.
They are on a move. They are going to move to a different part of the country now that hibernation is over. The cubs play king and queen of the mountain. They are fighting around, having a good time. Where am I? The sister wins, and then they all go and get nurtured by their mother. The cubs are practicing their hunting. The mom grizzly decides that, you know what, it's time. She's gonna take a bath in the pond. Or in the lake. She's having a grand old time. Anything you want to add on that?
Well, Mom had introduced solid food to the cubs because she was weaning them. And then she went for bath time and she basically just kind of started playing around in the water.
She was having a great time.
But the cubs wanted nothing to do with it. They didn't want anything to do with the water. And then they got pushed in. And then we learned that bear cubs are natural born swimmers. And then Mom decided it was time to do more solid foods and introduce them to fish. So she fishes while she's in the uh, river, lake, whatever it was. And the sister cub does not like fish, but the brother cub, Wob, what is it, Wob? Is that how you
I
say
never
it?
wrote their names down.
Okay,
I just referred to them as the one with only four toes.
Wob is the boy.
Mhm.
Um, but he doesn't get to eat as Mom has to go because she has traveling fever again. So she starts to head up on her way. They end up with some snow somehow. Although I thought we just woke up from hibernation. But then Wob likes to push, you need to stop, and push things over, and he goes sledding.
Yeah, it's true. Um, Thank you for that. Sorry about that. My day job decided to need me. Um, pull the curtain back a little bit. If you want to find us sponsors, I won't have to work on my day job. So they're trucking through the snow. They're slipping and sliding down the mountain. Um, Slipping and
No,
sliding down the mountain. The days and the miles pass by. The cubs keep
hang
growing.
on.
Okay, go ahead.
So we also find out that when the cubs were born, they each weighed 10 ounces.
Hmm.
So I guess technically she could have had them in her sleep passively and not known.
10 ounces or 10 pounds?
10 ounces is what they weighed when they were both born. And then by the time hibernation was over, they were each about their current weight, which was 40
40
pounds.
pounds. They are now up to 40 pounds each. Um, we then meet a man from the Cree tribe who is comparing the land to a map.
Hmm.
He has served in the army and has returned to the place of his youth. While being nostalgic, he sees the family of Grizzlies. Uh, he now works as a cattle rancher and a farmer. But growing up in the Cree tribe, he was very like, I want to talk about this, but he was very like one with the Grizzlies.
So from what I understand, um, bears were very important to his people, and his name was Moki,
Hmm.
and he had become a cattleman. So he took a job as a cattleman, um, and he was mapping out the borders of the ranch, and it said during that time that he was a member of the Bear Clan. And then whiteface cattle would eventually replace the Longhorn as the majority cattle. And that's what he is helping his boss with. Um, and then we find out that Moki is going to end up being Wob's friend, but the cattleman is going to be his enemy. Um, and that's when the cattleman shoots uh, Wob's mom. It never really references what happens to the sister. From there
No.
on, we just kind of follow Wob around. Um, and then they're cutting down a bunch of trees. So I'm assuming that they're like expanding the ranch for the cattle and stuff. And at that point, I think I told you that um the gnomes would be furious
Mhm.
with the deforestation of this area.
It's true. So we talked about the causing the mama bear to got into a fight and the
Hmm.
ranchers. The Moki's boss's name is Colonel Pearson. That's going to come up later.
Hmm.
Um, you talked about them falling into the river and the mother not making it, right?
I didn't say anything about them falling into the river, but I just said that he killed the mom.
Yeah, so like they shoot him and they fall into the river, but the our bear friend, I don't remember what his name was.
Wop.
Wob also falls in the river, but he makes it.
Hmm.
Um, uh, the our Cree friend, whose name is Moki,
Hmm.
feels bad for the bear and the cubs. Uh, when floating down the rivers, down the rapids, the boy club, which you also mentioned was Wob, makes it. He's still alive. So the man sees the bear cub footprints now back on the land. We see that our bear friend is hiding in a tree, and Moki, the man, spots him, but he doesn't shoot him. Instead, he decides to help him. He ties like a lasso and he lassos him down.
Hmm.
He catches the cub to avoid any harm. Like he gets like a shirt to like catch him so he doesn't like hurt himself either.
Hmm.
He carries the cub with him to on his horse. Um, he's not thinking of the future. He's reflecting on the past, it says. And he ventures up the mountain to release and free the grizzly.
Hmm.
He reflects on his grandfather, and then he lets the cub go free. Anything to say on that before we keep going? All right. So the cub keeps growing. He comes across a mother cougar. He gets chased off. He then sees a massive black bear eating some honey, who doesn't take kindly to the cub, trying to steal some of its food, and he chases him up the tree. Another massive grizzly also comes because of the commotion. A fight breaks out between the massive black bear and the massive grizzly. The grizzly wins because this film isn't called The King of the Black Bears. The film is called The King of the Grizzlies, so of course the massive grizzly wins. Um, but the big grizzly bear wants to claim its territory with our friend Wob, who's hiding in a tree. So he starts to like dig a hole and
Well,
shake the cub out of the tree.
they mentioned he just didn't like whiners, and Wob was up a tree from the black bear, and he was crying up in the
Hmm.
tree, and the grizzly was not happy with his whining, so he was gonna knock him down.
But
Because apparently we learned adult grizzlies can't climb trees.
no, but the cub does hold off long enough for the big grizzly to just give up and move on.
Hmm.
So then he does climb down the tree the next morning, but he sees like a moving bush, which causes him to run away. And that moving bush, of course, is our friend Bambi. It was a deer. Um, it is now the first snowfall, and our cub friend now weighs 400 pounds, and he has a new sensation.
And
He
he
is
started at
getting sleepy,
10 ounces.
and now he weighs 400 pounds in 1 year.
That's a lot of weight gain.
Yep. But he's getting sleepy
Yeah.
because tis the season. He returns to the same cave he was born in, and he goes into hibernation.
Hmm.
But a pair of wolverines, and we all know about our friends the wolverines, are also prowling nearby. And they go into the bear cave, awaking the hibernation slumber.
Hmm.
And we all know what we learned about the wolverines, which is
They can basically take on anything, no matter what size.
mhm, except this time the bear wins and the natural born killers retreat out of the cave.
Hmm.
He was lucky. Um, Seasons change, the adventure continues, and the bear now weighs 800 pounds. It's a big boy. He leaves the familiar area. Um, but then we see a wolf trap and a pack of wolves.
Hmm.
But our bear friend gets caught in the trap trying to get the food.
Hmm.
But we th- um, we then see. Well, no, he gets caught in the wolf trap. I'm sorry, not in the bear trap. He gets caught in a wolf trap, but he's able to get out of it.
Okay.
And then Moki
Hmm.
is now like a full-fledged farmer. He is hunting with his rancher friends. They're like having a horse show. He admits to Pearson that he had saved the cub, and he has since seen it again. We also see um, the massive. Oh, so now Wob is like a massive bear, like I said, 800 pounds, and he's like pushing over trees.
Hmm.
He's attempting to knock over the trees that the ranchers were using to build a fence.
Hmm.
He wakes up one of the ranchers um, to like complete horror. The bear like chases him off. He has to like play dead and stuff. Um,
Which I guess is actually a thing.
yeah, I mean,
I guess, ironically, I don't know if it was like AI and things listening and maybe something new that we watched a bear movie recently, but right after we saw that, I saw something online that said the types of bear, and if it's a grizzly, you lay down and play dead, and they'll leave you alone, which is what this guy did in the movie. So
it worked.
I don't know, I guess that's a real thing. And then if it's a black bear, I guess you're supposed to stand your ground, and if it's a white bear, you're just gonna die.
Because you're gonna slip and fall off the iceberg.
No, because they will. I think they're technically the king of the bear.
Mm. Is that why they're banished to the icebergs?
Well, I think it's because they match.
I guess.
They blend in with the snow.
I was trying to make a pun about what a grizzly bear would match with then if they, but
Dirt.
whatever. Um, Moki learns of the bear attack, and he is ordered to set up bear. He's ordered to set up bear traps.
But he did tell the person, what, the colonel, is that his name?
Pearson, yeah,
He did tell him that he knows it's the same one
because of the four
because of the
fingers.
four toes. Yeah.
Our bear main character meets a female bear main character,
Hmm.
and the courtship has begun.
She's a gold digger.
Tell me more, because he's the king of the Grizzlies.
No, because she decided he was going to be a great provider, and he then goes on all these missions to get her food, and she's not helping at all. And he's getting the food, and she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have to share. You just provided that for me." And I was like, "She is a terrible person. I wouldn't want to be her partner."
I mean, this bear liked it.
Well, he thought he
He
did.
did. He did. So
He deserved better.
they avoid a bunch of wolf traps. They get plenty of free food.
Yeah, he did
Um,
teach her because he learned about the wolf traps.
our bear lovers, they fight over the food, like you say. So then she leaves.
Hmm.
She
She
leaves.
only wanted him for his food.
Moki is camping in the wilderness. He encounters his long lost and now much larger bear friend.
Hmm.
And the bear decides to leave without any altercation.
He did something, and I feel like it was like a show of respect that the Bear Clan would have done. Like, I think he called on his like grandfather's spirit or something
Yeah.
to guide him with that or something. I don't remember exactly, but um, when he put his hands up in the air, then that's kind of when Wop was like, "Okay, I see you," and then he turned around and left. He did not have to play dead,
No.
like the other guy. Um,
So
yeah.
then the bear leaves without any altercation.
Hmm.
Our bear friend now weighs 1,250 pounds, and he stumbles into Pearson's ranch. We see the ranchers are out herding the cattle, and the grizzly is approaching the bulls, causing quite a commotion and a stampede.
Hmm.
But much like, I'm sorry, much unlike Michael Jordan's wonderful 90s basketball, these bulls stood no chance to the Grizzlies. So it was a full on stampede of the bulls and the horses, and the ranchers, and one king of the Grizzlies. So the ranchers shoot at the grizzly, but no luck. The bear pushes the food wagon down the hill, causing more mischief. Pearson sets off to take down the grizzly himself. Um, Moki also leaves on his own to find Pearson. Our grizzly friend gets into a fight with another mighty grizzly. Everyone is
At
now
the honey tree.
Yep. Everyone is now on the Grizzlies' trail. Pearson falls down a mountain. Um, Moki goes to help him, but they are both visited by the grizzly this time. Um, yep. So this time, Moki pulls a handgun on the bear, on his bear friend,
Hmm.
but he starts to speak in his native tongue, and our massive bear cub remembers him and retreats. Correct? Did I miss anything there? An injured Pearson still wants to shoot the bear, much to his partner's dismay. He has the bear in the sight, but before he can shoot, we see that the bear is making a different territory, signifying that it will leave them alone.
Yeah, so it's not going to come back on anywhere near the ranch.
Um, so then Pearson's like, "Well, I still want to shoot this bear, but there's no bullets." Um,
Because
Pier-
Moki had taken them out.
Moki had taken the bullets out, and Pearson finally realizes that they are now brothers, and they pack up and go home. And now the bear is the king of the Grizzlies for the rest of its life. The end.
That we know of.
Yeah, part two.
What are you going to do like in 5 years? There's a sequel.
I mean, it'd be 50 years
Brother
later.
Bear.
Yeah, there you go. So thoughts, facts, ratings.
It was all right. I have to say it was probably my least favorite animal documentary that we've watched thus far, like documentary style, like
Hmm.
film. Um, it wasn't terrible. It definitely wasn't my favorite. Um, I'm glad I don't have to watch it again. I don't know about you, but it was not anything to
I
write home
mean, you
about.
can always tell that it was an animal documentary that you made me take notes on. So,
Yeah, how did it feel?
I mean, whatever. I did a good job. I'm the king of the notes
Do
or whatever, king of the
you
Grizzlies.
do you prefer this kind of movie now
No.
or no? No. Okay.
So, what did you rate this movie?
So I rated it a 5 out of 10.
Okay,
IMDb gave it a 5.6 out of 10.
it's pretty low for IMDb.
Well, I mean, you did watch it, so
Hey, this was the first film of the 1970s.
okay. What would you have rated it?
I don't know, a 3?
Wow. And you think I rate things low. Okay. Anyway,
I mean, it's better than the wartime propagandas that we watched. But
with a Disney touch.
does this make your list upon a star?
So I'm
Your
gonna,
first list upon a star of the 1970s, the 30s, the 40s,
yeah.
the 50s, the 60s, and now we are in the 70s with the king of the Grizzlies.
Yes.
So does this make your list upon a star with your solid 5?
Well, I'm gonna say it hibernated its way right off my list. It slept right off. So it did not make it
So then what is your list upon a star
in the
for the
1970s.
first one in the 1970s?
101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, That Darn Cat, The Three Caballeros, Moon Pilot, and The Shaggy Dog.
Yeah. So I have films on my list upon a star that go all the way back to the beginning. I got the 30s. I don't think I have any of the 40s. I might. The 50s I have, the 60s I have, but this first one of the 70s is not making my list upon a star. So my list still is 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Babes in Toyland, Pinocchio, Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, and a film about a much better bear, The Jungle Book. But we did it. We made it to the 1970s. We watched our first film of the 1970s.
Hmm.
We are on Instagram. We are on Spotify, where you can hear our lovely voices. And we are on YouTube, where you can see me drink out of the same cup since the 1930s.
You can also watch us on Spotify if you prefer to
Hey,
watch.
we are not very technical here.
I am.
Whatever. But we made it to the 1970s. Deep dive into magicpod at gmail.com. Let us know if mother bears just have kids while they're sleeping. Um,
10 ounces.
but our next film number 97, we're going over to July of 1970, with a film called The Boatniks. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.